This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting out your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win. All right, we got the Bengals facing off against the Cleveland Browns, and although there's not playoff implications on this one, there's a lot of history that could be on the line depending on what happens with one Myles Garrett. And so for this breakdown and whether or not Myles Garrett is going to get the single season sack record, we had to get our guy Teron Armstead back on the show to talk about it. Let's hear what he had to say. Here we go, week 18 with our guy Teron Armstead. And the game that we're going to focus on here, Teron, there's nothing on the line, but there's also immortality on the line. And that's what we got to talk with you about here, because Myles Garrett, once again, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, he is currently half a sack away from tying the single season sack record, but he is one full sack away from being number one on that list. He goes against a familiar foe, not just in a divisional opponent, but a guy who he got 2 sacks on in week 1 of this season, Orlando Brown Jr. And so I just kind of want to start with Myles Garrett overall. I'm sure that you saw the game plan from the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, where it felt like Myles said himself, they might have been a little bit more concerned with him not getting the sack record instead of actually winning that football game. Cleveland wins it. Myles Garrett was chipped 27 times against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's not even counting how many times the guard rotated over to help out the tackle. So just first and foremost, your thoughts overall on Myles Garrett's season, how much attention this guy gets via chips, via help blocks, whatever it is. And yet the fact that we're still here talking about him being a half a sack away from having that single season record.
Trev, I wanna give Myles his flowers, bro. Regardless if he gets this sack record this weekend or not, the fact that he's in this position with his situation is record-breaking. It's greatest of all time talks. It's otherworldly, because when you think of guys that lead the league in sacks on a consistent basis, most times, not I would say 98% of the time, they're playing with the lead a lot. So they get more opportunities to rush the passer, or they have a counterpart on the other side that makes it really difficult for a team to slide to them the entire time. That's not Myles' situation. The Browns are not winning. They're not blowing teams out. They're not up early, 21-0 in the second quarter, so where teams were passing the ball to come back. That's not the situation. Myles is getting 2 grown men every snap, and he's here at 22 sacks. So I just want to stop there and give this man his flowers. What he's doing is different. We have not seen this before. Even from some of the greats that we know, this is different. It's special. Now, as far as this weekend goes, I think the attention will be as similar to what Pittsburgh did, and they sacrificed the game to make sure he didn't get the sack. Cincinnati might have the same approach.
I think that Cincinnati with Joe Burrow is okay with that strategy as well, because I do agree with you. And when we look at how good Burrow is as a pre-snap evaluator, that ball can come out of his hands pretty quick. And for the Steelers, I don't think it's a great game plan. It's not a super explosive game plan. When they're doing that, they're not really giving themselves the ability to put a lot of points on the board, a lot of yards on the field. But Joe Burrow has that ability. So I do agree with you. I think getting the ball out quick, you double teaming him to making sure he doesn't get those quick pressures, I think that'll still exist with the Bengals. But this matchup specifically with him going up against Orlando Brown Jr., their left tackle, he got 2 sacks, Myles Garrett did, on Orlando Brown Jr. earlier in the season to start the year. And when I went back and I watched both of these sacks, both of them were that speed to power bull rush that you and I have talked about a lot throughout this season. When we've talked about some of the great offensive tackles and some of these great matchups, you have often pointed out you've got to be able to anchor first. If you can't anchor, guys are just going to continue to bull rush because there's nothing fancy about it. And they'll be able to just get straight through your chest, get back into the quarterback. Myles is a freak athletically, and how he is built, how he has that strength, all that good stuff. For Orlando Brown Jr. specifically, what I noticed in that first matchup, and just something that I know about Orlando Brown Jr. anyways, is his pre-snap stance. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because every offensive lineman's pre-snap stance can be a little bit different. But Orlando Brown Jr., for as big as a guy as he is, he sort of has that narrow footwork, that narrow pre-snap stance where his knees bent in a little bit. And I think it helps him with his kick slides, right? It kind of helps him explode out of his stance a little bit better. But when you have that wider base, I think that's also what made it a little bit easier for Garrett to execute that bull rush so well and so effectively against him. Do you think that's just going to continue to be the bread and butter for Garrett here in this matchup again? And then talk to me a little bit about that technique of having a little bit more narrow of a stance, the strengths of it, the weaknesses of it, and why Orlando Brown Jr. has that technique.
Yeah, the technique that Orlando Brown Jr. is using is from the great Joe Thomas. So that narrow stance, that track-like 2-point stance is for vertical setters. It's for an explosive first kick. You see Lane Johnson use it, Jordan Mailata use it. It's from Joe Thomas. And guys that have a really good anchor, really strong anchor like Orlando, they use that technique to get back, get space, and set up shop. The difference with Miles is his get off is so elite. By the time Orlando is getting his second kick in the ground, Miles is making contact. That's not normal. So I'm sure Orlando will make an adjustment this go round from the stance, from the explosion. But when you're facing Miles, you got to anticipate power first. If I'm going to combat any move that he has, it's power first. I do not want Miles running through my chest, creating constant pressure, because then all the rest of his moves start to come into effect. So I want to stop power first. Let's go head to head. Let's butt heads like Rams, and I'm gonna make you go to another move. So you work your outside rip, your Euro steps, but the speed to power, no, we gonna stop that first.
The way that the Steelers sort of played Myles Garrett sort of went into that a little bit. When you have more bodies to allocate to one rusher, it was as if they were sort of saying, okay, the running back out of the backfield, he's going to be there to chip if Myles attacks the outside shoulder. We've got the guard who's, he's kind of paying attention to center a little bit, but really, his eyes are looking at his peripheral to Myles Garrett. He's kind of protecting that inside move of what could be like that Euro step or that cross chop or whatever it is. And maybe the Bengals kind of go with that same strategy where they just tell Orlando Brown Jr., hey, anchor up. Don't worry as much about the shoulders because we'll have help for you if he gets to the inside and the outside. Anchor up on this dude. We got to make sure that he's not bull rushing you straight back into Joe Burrow's lap. The last question that I have for you is simply, does he get it? Do you like this matchup for Myles Garrett? Do you think that he gets the half sack to tie the full sack to get the record himself? What do you think? I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I'm going to make you call it. Do you think he gets it or not here in this matchup?
Trevor, I think the attention that he's going to get, the help that will be sent his way, will make it nearly impossible to get it in drop back pass. I think Myles gets the sack on a play action. On a bootleg, on a play that he's supposed to be read and run, but he shoots up the field before anybody can get a hand on and get the extra chip on him, and he gets the sack.
All right, there we go. You think he gets one? You think it's going to be a little unconventional how he gets it? But yep. I know Myles Garrett doesn't care how he gets it. He just wants to see his name there at the very top. This is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. There's no doubt about it. It would be cool. I know Bengals fans don't think it would be cool, but it would be cool to see him have this achievement for what has been an unbelievable season for him, like you mentioned, in so many ways of how he got to this point. Tron, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the help in the regular season. We'll see you in the playoffs, my friend.
See you in the playoffs. Yes, sir.
All right, Dalton, outside of the Myles Garrett matchup here versus Orlando Brown Jr. and him chasing history. What are you looking forward to on this game?
Well, to be honest with you, I just have more numbers actually inside of that matchup. So we're going to stick with that anyway because that's the big story here for the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett in his career against the Cincinnati Bengals, a 92.8 pass rush grade. 64 pressures is his second most against any team, only behind Baltimore, and 15 sacks is his most against any team. If there was a team that he was going to break this record against, it would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals meanwhile, have had a good turnaround in pass protection lately since week 13, Trevor. The last 5 weeks, they have the highest pass blocking grade in the league, okay? So you're talking about a team that, is protecting Joe Burrow well, and you would think normally your first instinct would tell you, okay, Joe Burrow's getting rid of the football in a second and a half, right? He's really protecting these guys. He's inflating those numbers. Not really. His average time to throw this year and in the last few weeks has hovered around 2.7, 2.8, kind of an average number there. So when you look at them actually protecting him, Dylan Fairchild at left guard's been a lot better the second half of the year. Orlando Brown's been good recently. Amarius Mims on the right side was really good last week. So I think you do actually have a fun battle between a hot offensive line and obviously the best pass rusher in football in Myles Garrett. We'll see if he can break this record against a hot offensive line for Cincinnati.
On the Brown side of things, for Shedeur, what I'm really looking to see from him in this game is, can you attack over the intermediate middle of the field? Because that's the area that I think that he has struggled at the most. When you look at the passes beyond 20 yards this season, he has actually had a decent amount of success. He's had some turnover-worthy plays, but he also has a lot of big-time throws. And so being able to attack deep down the field is something that he could do on a regular basis. The issue becomes from 10 to 19 yards down the field, he's got way more turnover-worthy plays than he does big-time throws. It's been a major issue. He's got one big-time throw to 4 turnover-worthy plays. That's got to be the area of the field that he has to perform a lot better at. And so obviously it's the last game of the season, but building blocks going into next season, whatever the quarterback situation is going to be for the Cleveland Browns, it's going to be important for him to build off of that. So can he attack the over the middle intermediate part of the field? We've talked about how the Bengals linebackers, their second level, have really struggled this season. And so do you get a favorable matchup there? Can you attack that a little bit better? I think the Bengals win this game. I think the more talented team, certainly with Joe Burrow out there, they've been pretty fantastic. 28-17 is the final score that I'm going with here. And I do think that Myles Garrett gets the sack record.
23-16, I have Cincinnati winning as well at home. And a big factor, too, for the Browns could be whether or not Harold Fannin is playing. The Bengals obviously have struggled more than anyone to cover tight ends. He's not expected to practice today. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. If Fannin plays, I'd like the Browns to keep it a little bit closer possibly than that. But if he doesn't, then I'm not sure what other options they're going to have in the passing game. He's really been their best lately, and a lot of injuries on that offense have really stunted their ability to score points.
Does Garrett get it? Does he get the sack record?
I'm taking the cop-out. I'm going to say he ties it. I'm going to take the half. I'm going to go Michael Strahan, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. And then we will still have the Myles Garrett, TJ Watt argument, as we always do in this building, don't we?
You're trying to fuel engagement, actually. I see what you're doing. You're a company man in that regard. You need the debates to continue.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff. Because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.